What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building. What's happening?
Hey everybody, it's your girl Ray P.
You gonna finish this out, man? We get the culture garden. I'm talking about Rachel. Rachel normally, welcome to the
Oh,
culture garden.
well, kinda, not really. I didn't know if I was introducing our special guest or you were.
It don't matter, you know what I'm saying? We can just roll with it. We can roll with it. We are joined by a special guest. Shout out to this incredible intro. But we are joined by a special guest, Mia. Mia, welcome back to the Culture Garden podcast.
Hello. Thanks for having me
Yeah.
back.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'll get into your presence here today. I'll explain that when we get into the film and the origin and all that kind of good stuff. But welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden podcast. We appreciate everybody out there for tuning in. We were off last week. However, we are back starting off April. Hopefully, everybody is not too late. Even though March is technically over, it's not too late to make sure you sent Rachel her birthday wishes as she was celebrating all the month. She celebrated the whole month, so make sure you got those in. But before we get started on a serious note, have to take time to acknowledge the loss of an icon,
Yes.
Hollywood titan, Hollywood legend, Black legend in general, but he's definitely of us. Lou Gossett Jr. passed away. My mom, one of her favorite movies, or the first movie I ever knew that was her favorite, was An Officer and a Gentleman. Loved that movie. Had it on VHS the whole nine, and he won an Academy Award. It was the first black man to win an Academy Award for Best Supporting. And obviously, just one of those titans and icons that kicked down doors and made sure he reached back and gave game to this newer generation. If you saw the incredible post by today's, the current day Black Hollywood. And them mentioning how much of an impact he had on them. A lot of people who were in the cast of Color Purple, which she was in, the one that just came out. And I don't want to get too much into it just because you can't just feel like all of our icons are like that. You can't sum it up in a few words, but please watch a Lou Gossett movie. We talked about him on Daddy's Little Girls. Take some time to learn who he is, that contribution. And rest in peace to him, man. I just want to send our condolences to his family and his loved ones, his friends, everything else, for sure. All right. SGP, School's Guilty Pleasures.
What's happening?
School, man. The street saying you dropped the classic, man.
Hey, man. Classic. Listen, that's what the street's saying. I don't know. Hey.
I'm just telling you. I saw the numbers and I'm hearing the conversations. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, School's last episode was Love Don't Cost a Thing, the 2003 film with Nick Cannon and Christina Milian. He had Rio. Rio was on his Fifth Element episode, and obviously Maurice. Maurice was on our Friends and Family episode, obviously friend of the podcast. The three of them discussed it, man. I enjoyed the conversation. It was definitely organic and natural, so I appreciated it. And that movie it's entertaining. It's not good, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And there were some good parts about it. You guys covered all of it. So shout out to you. If you aren't subscribed, it is on the Culture Garden feed. So please make sure you check out School's Guilty Pleasures. Drops on Fridays, every other Fridays. I don't know. I'll let School explain all that for you. But yeah, man, he getting too big for me, man. School getting too big. School called me a little nigga the other day, man.
Man, chill out, man. Never. Never.
And obviously, shout out to We Got Y'all.
Shout out to We Got Y'all.
And Rachel, it's funny because I'm gonna rap to you this week because I have an idea for something to discuss.
Okay.
I came up with a template in my head because I miss talking television with you.
I know.
And we've been talking a lot about a show that I've been watching, which I can't believe we didn't discuss this yet. So much satisfaction from that last episode.
Yeah, it was
so much satisfaction. It's reality TV, y'all. We'll find a way to implement it, but We Got Y'all. We'll be back soon. Sooner rather than later.
And this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know we keep saying it, but I'm busy.
That's a whole conversation. Yeah, that's why I'm not even putting a date on it, man. Shout out to Yo Gotti, little baby, man. But we're not even putting a date on it. It's gonna happen.
And before I was listening to Another Week in the Books. You shouted out Mo earlier. I just want to clarify. I too, like Spike was too old for all of the Nickelodeon melee
Me too.
for
Mhm.
Too.
Quiet on the Set.
Mm-hmm.
I Even though we were the all that generation, so Amanda Bynes was on there, but she still was
She was
young.
after. Yeah, she was
So
young.
um like Drake and Josh, I have never seen that in my life. There was an interview that Keenan Thompson did with, I want to say, Tamron Hall, and he was just saying like, yeah, I knew Homeboy, but that wasn't my experience, and I was
Yeah.
kind of aged out of everybody that they interviewed. So I just shout out to Quiet on Set on Max if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you
Watch
there.
I
I
it.
haven't
checked it
watched
out.
that.
Crazy. Crazy.
Mia, is that your generation? I'm assuming that is
Awesome.
like.
I'm not that much younger than you.
I know, but those couple years make it. There's sometimes where me and school will talk, and those 2 years
Mhm.
will make a difference. So
So I'm 33. I'll be 34. I was right on the cusp. I watched more of the original, all that cast, and like Keenan and Kel. I did
Yeah.
watch the
okay,
Amanda show, but anything after like that second cast of all that and Drake and Josh was a little bit after I was kind of over the whole Nickelodeon thing. So I knew who they were. Like I had seen
Um.
that the show was there, but I didn't watch it. And like all of the other little girls who were, the one who had wrote the book and all that stuff, I
Mhm.
didn't watch any of those shows, but I knew who they were.
Okay.
I got you. But yeah, man, I haven't watched it. I'm sure I will at some point, but it's just one of those things. I'm not in the space mentally to
Oh
watch
yeah, I'm
about
still definitely
another.
play on that, but
Yeah. I've been hearing everybody talk about it, but I'm not in any rush to see it. Maybe not. We'll see. But
yeah,
hopefully everybody is healing okay, because that sounds like it was a lot of stuff going on.
for sure.
And you can look that up if you're interested in it. Also, before we move forward with the episode, since we talked about Ray P, shout out to Chris, man. Chris bowled his second 300 bowling game,
Who is that? Oh,
and I saw that, and that's just a dope feat, man. So you know how we are about the film. We
yeah.
all film here. I saw Chris bowl the 300. That's an incredible feat. Bowling and golf are one of those things where um, I admire when you accomplish great things in those, because it doesn't take like super powers or super athleticism to do them. It just takes really consistency, practice, and all
Mhm.
that stuff. So to bowl the 300, like you really have to be dedicated to it, and it's not easy.
Yeah. So imagine being a fun girl in a family full of serious bowlers. But my parents, and Chris, obviously, he's still in the league, but my parents are still in leagues. I have not bowled seriously since I was like 15 because they used to stress me out with my dad as a coach and my brother. So yeah, forget all of that. But shout out to Chris on his second 300 after 30 years of
Absolutely.
bowling. And all the bowlers
Absolutely.
out there. It's a very intense.
That's what's up.
Who do you think you are? I am. Shout out to everybody who knows that quote.
Exactly.
Bowling is some serious shit, man. That's one of those sports when I was younger, like 13, 14, I used to love watching on TV. Like, I just love it. I'm like, this shit is
Really?
dope. Absolutely. And it's like, I wouldn't have expected it, but it's dope.
Hey man, I've known this nigga for 35 years. I ain't never seen him watch bowling. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. Do your thing,
You
man.
wasn't there.
Not you asking about bowling.
I'm talking
You know what?
shit.
You know what? I was about to say something, but I ain't even gonna say it. I ain't even gonna say it.
Uh-oh.
But before we get started with today's episode, please remember to like, subscribe, share. There's a link tree in our episode description. YouTube. Listen, I told myself this week, gonna start making reels for our social media.
Mhm.
Not serious, not like serious, like take different videos and mash them together, but literally just taking segments of our episodes, putting them in real version, get
Mhm.
them out there to the world, put them on YouTube, Instagram. Gonna start with our current stuff and just go all the way back through our catalog. I'm gonna dedicate time throughout the week. I told everybody foot was on the gas this year. Want to make sure I'm doing my part. So I'm telling you guys publicly because I need accountability partners. So y'all can hit me up and be like, hey, nigga, you was fronting. Where them reels at? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. That's the best way I work, man. I need somebody to tell me, hey, bro, you bugging. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let me get on it. There will be spoilers, even though this film came out 20 years ago, which is crazy. And there will be explicit content. Today's film, as you can see on the title, is Mean Girls. We might even drop this on Wednesday just out of respect.
Damn, you gotta make that writing, that font pink. You're gonna drop it on Wednesday.
Dang, you're right. We do got to make the font pink if we need to do it. You know what? I'm gonna work on that. But in the meantime, the synopsis of the film: Cady Heron is a hit with the plastics, the A-list girl clique at her new school, until she makes the mistake of falling for Aaron Samuels, the ex-boyfriend of Alpha Plastic Regina George. As far as the stats are concerned, there we go. How's that look?
There we go.
Yeah.
I bet. As far as the stats are concerned, this film was released April 30th of 2004. 20 years old this month, y'all.
Crazy.
Think about that for a second. Directed by Mark Walters. He also directed Freaky Friday, which starred Lindsay Lohan a year prior. It was written by Rosalind Wiseman and Tina Fey. This was Tina Fey's first theatrical screenplay. She had obviously done some writing on Saturday Night Live. The film had a budget of an estimated $17 million, and it made $130.1 million at the box office.
Crazy.
Insane. 24.4 million opening weekend. It opened at number 1, beating out the previous week number 1, which was Man on Fire. Shout out to Denzel. And the film is currently streaming on Paramount Plus. As far as awards go, nothing major. It is a teen movie, but it did win 7 wins, 25 nominations, highlighted by the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Lindsay Lohan won for Best Female Performance. The Plastics won for Best On-Screen Team. And I believe Rachel McAdams won for Best Breakthrough Star. Then you have the Teen Choice Awards. Lindsay Lohan for Choice Movie Actress in a Comedy and Breakout Movie Star. So it was everybody raves about Lindsay Lohan's performance. I have a question about that as we get further into the episode. As far as the cast goes, as I mentioned, Lindsay Lohan is Cady Heron, her first film that wasn't Disney related. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. Rachel McAdams as Regina George, Lacey Chabert as Gretchen Wieners.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amanda Seyfried as Karen Smith, Lizzie Kaplan as Janice Ian, Daniel Franzese, if I'm saying that correctly, as Damien, Jonathan Bennett as Aaron Samuels, Ohio's very own. Shout out to Ohio. Tina Fey as Miss Norberry, Tim Meadows as Mrs. Duvall, and Amy Poehler as Mrs. George, who, interestingly enough, is only 7 years older than Rachel McAdams, who's portraying her daughter in the film. So not that big of an age gap.
Right.
But when I think about this film, I don't even know if it's underrated, but a sneaky good cast.
For sure.
Sneaky good cast. Like, this cast really held it together. Really held it together.
Yes.
So this was my week to pick. All right, let's talk about this for a second. We told y'all the first quarter of the year was kind of nuts. So originally, this film was supposed to round out Women's History Month. And I was like, damn, we on our break. Or I was out of town. I'm just like, man, I ain't got the time to really do it. So we took our quarterly break and we're doing it this month. I still thought it was a good film to cover. The original film that I was going to pick, let's stop real quick. I got a question. So I had a different film that I was going to pick. I won't disclose what it is. School and Rachel know what it is. I watched the film, I'd say on a Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Told them what it was going to be. And then Saturday morning, hit both of y'all like, hey, I'm gonna switch it. And Rachel, you were like, good, because I started it and turned it off after 10 minutes.
I did.
It's just funny. It's funny to me just because the film, when we do our ratings, the film is an 8.5 out of 10. And an actor won Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars that year for it. However,
what it is.
However, we might tell you off camera. I don't know. No promises. However, when I go back and watch it, as much as I enjoy it, I think it's a little bit overrated. And I want to have that conversation one day. School,
Okay.
you know what I'm talking about because you like the movie too, but
Mhm.
for some reason, I don't know, it's just a tad bit overrated.
I think it's where time has gone too. Like we're just in a different type of era.
You mean as far as that stuff? There we go. That's the pink I was looking for.
Yeah,
You mean a different
that's
type
that
of era as
character
far?
is that type of character being
I don't think
praised.
that matters.
You
I
don't
don't
think
think that
so?
matters. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about that
Okay.
movie today.
Okay.
Rachel, what was it with you when you was like, I'm cool?
I don't know. And maybe it was the headspace and the energy that I was in. I was like, what the fuck is this? So
You definitely have to be in the mood to watch that film.
yeah,
100%.
and when you just said that it was awarded, well, it reminded me of Poor Things, which I tried to watch after the Oscars this year, and I turned that shit off in 10 minutes too. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And I love Emma Stone, so I don't know. People keep saying it's good after those first 10 minutes, but there's like a general Negro at least consensus that the first 20 minutes is some bullshit. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
That's why me and Rich had a 30-minute rule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely got the 30-minute rule, but
That's too long.
there's a very specific reason why I want to talk to you about that movie, Rachel, because it reminds you of a time in our lives that we both experienced.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, and I want to get your thoughts on it, but we'll talk about it one day. We'll come back to it. But the other reason, as far as why I picked this movie, and we were talking briefly before we recorded, I was late to Mean Girls. All right, I'll probably get into it when we talk about first experiences. I've talked about this before, me being late to the parties and situations. I brought up the hangover situation, one that school specifically can relate to white chicks. I was late to white chicks. And there are certain movies where if you weren't around when they were popping, even though they're still legendary status all these years later, if you weren't around when it was going on, you kind of miss all of the things that helped make it a classic. There are certain things in the moment where you like, it's almost like watching a TV show. Like if I was bringing up Game of Thrones today and trying to have a conversation with somebody like it was fresh, they'd be like, "Nigga, I've been seeing that." Like, yeah, cool. Like you should have been back. You should have been with us in 2011 when we were watching it. So it's kind of one of those things. You can still get excited, but it ain't the same as when the world stops and everybody's talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think Mean Girls was one of those because you can tell this impact and this phenomenon just because I could quote this movie having never seen it. I knew so many quotes just because from women saying them, and all types of stuff. So I knew the impact it had. I just never had any interest in it. And I obviously wanted to bring Mia on because I know you love the film and I wanted to make sure the film was properly discussed. I didn't want me to be so ho-hum about it when I know it means so much. And I know school loves it too. So this is one of those episodes where I'm going to try to like coordinate the conversation versus actually being involved in it. And I might have questions about certain things. But as a fan, I want to hear you guys discuss the love and just that what it was like in 2004, 2005, high school in general when a film like this came out. Because Rachel and myself, we're lined step in step with this film. Like it came out, they were juniors in the movie. It came out at the end of our junior year of high school. Like we were right there. So it was right in the mix in 2004. I was, like I said, I was watching more of like the frat pack movies back in 03, 04. For those who don't know, like the frat pack, the Will Ferrell, Owen and Luke Wilson, Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, those type of movies, Wedding Crashers, old school. Like that was my comedy lane. So I never gravitated towards Mean Girls. I believe the opening weekend, 50% of the audience was under 18, 75% were women. So it was just one of those films that never drew me in, even though I did like Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Just not enough to really go to the movies per se. So yeah, like I said, I want to have that conversation with you. I want to talk about the cultural significance. And like I said, make sure it's discussed by people who really appreciate what it is to its full extent. So I'll start with this. And Mia, since you're our guest, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
Classic or nah?
Absolutely. Yes.
Ray P?
Absolutely. Without question.
School?
Cult and everything else.
It's a sweep. Absolutely. Without question.
Having, and just to put it in perspective for everybody, I've seen this movie probably about 5 times, and 3 of them were getting ready for this episode. So that's what I mean when I say I haven't watched Mean Girls a lot in my life, but I appreciate it for what it is.
Oh wow.
And like I said, I know it's a classic. Listen, Mean Girls has a day. October 3rd is Mean Girls Day.
Yeah.
Like it's a classic. We can't argue that. I don't care how many times I have or have not seen it. It's definitely a classic. I don't know how much anybody knows about the origin, but we're going to talk about it. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Let's get into it.
It's from a book, right?
Yeah, but do you know anything about the book school and the whole little?
I know it's a nonfiction book, like kind of like a guide to get girls to high school type deal.
Yeah, it's a self-help guide, which is funny because Tina Fey didn't know that.
Yeah.
So originally the school was going to be called Homeschooled. I mean, this film was going to be called Homeschooled, obviously because of Cady or Caddy, whichever you want to call her. Did anybody notice that there were similarities to the Wild Thornberrys? As far as like parents living in Africa, moving to the States. A lot of people drew that comparison out. Wild Thornberrys was a cartoon that was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I don't think I've ever thought about it. Like, never thought about the similarity.
Yeah, I wasn't big on the Wild Thornberrys. I think I was kind of out of that stage by the time Wild Thornberrys started showing.
I definitely watched it.
Yeah.
Rachel, you about to say something?
I was gonna say, yeah, I had no idea. But now that you say that, if I'm looking at the Thornberrys, I can kind of see the similarities in the family. I mean, kind of.
I believe it's one of those just coincidences, but it's just something that people draw up like, that's interesting. That's how Wild Thornberrys was. But as school mentioned, Tina Fey got the idea from a book titled Queen Bees and Wannabes. And she saw the book without really reading it. Yeah, she saw the book without really reading it and told Lauren Michaels. Lauren Michaels is the creator of arguably one of the greatest television shows of all time, which is Saturday Night Live.
Yes,
but she told Lauren Michaels, because she was working at SNL at the time, and said, hey, I think this can be a movie. And ended up getting into a deal with Paramount. And Paramount said, cool, we own it. And then she realized, like, hold on, this isn't like a narrative. This isn't an adaptation. I can't adapt this. This is an actual self-help book for parents who have girls going through high school. So she actually went through her old high school memories. She went to Upper Darby High School in Pennsylvania. So she drew from her own experiences, and that's how she made the screenplay. Lauren Michaels produced it, as I mentioned. Lindsay Lohan was in demand because of Freaky Friday. Freaky Friday, for those who don't know, was a big hit. And she was in command. So they immediately said, we want Lindsay Lohan in this movie. Now, I don't know how many of you know, she was originally cast to play Regina George.
Yep. I did that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. And Rachel McAdams was going to play Cady. But I guess we're kind of removed from child stars, especially back in the pre-social media days. But Lindsay Lohan had a team. Like, she was that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And they were all concerned, like, hey, we don't want you. You just now taking off, especially into your adulthood, because she was a child actor. So everybody knows how tricky it can get from that kid to adult, how you transition.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, we don't want you being pegged as a mean girl. We don't want people thinking that you're really that. So Tina Fey, I believe, came up with the idea that, Rachel McAdams, since you're such a sweetheart in real life, you probably would do a better job of channeling that mean girl, because it's not you. You would really be acting. And I'm not saying Lindsay Lohan is, but they just flipped the script on it. And in my opinion, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Hilary Duff also was in the conversation to be Cady. But she was busy with Cheaper by the Dozens. What do you guys think about that?
I could see Hilary in here, given the time.
You don't see it, School?
Nope.
I think she could have done it. I could see it too.
Yeah. I see it just because of that time. I think other than Lindsay Lohan, might have been Hilary Duff, who was that girl.
Yeah, I used to have beef.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they used to have like Disney It Girl beef.
That's what's up.
I didn't. Wow. Dang.
I love to hear it. I should have done more research. I love to hear that. I love to hear it. Other people who were considered for the role of Regina: Kristen Stewart, Michelle Trachtenberg, and Mae Whitman. Michelle Trachtenberg is really interesting because I honestly haven't seen her since Harriet and the Spy.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah.
What has she been in? Could you see that?
She's been in the 17 again with Matthew Perry.
Okay.
Yep.
She
And Zac
was?
Efron.
Played his daughter.
Really?
Oh,
I didn't know that. Harry and the Spy was my shit. I used to have that orange VHS.
That used to
Yep.
be my favorite movie. I used to carry a composition notebook.
I
'cause
know that's
Same.
right.
I feel you on that. I wore that movie out on everything. I feel like I was watching that and Matilda around the same time. I just used to play those
Yeah.
all the time.
Mhm.
Here's one that I thought was pretty interesting as far as casting. America Ferrara and Kat Dennings were favored for the role of Janice. I think that Kat Dennings low-key looks like the actor
Lizzie
that
Kaplan.
played Janice.
Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah, they look similar. I could see it
I can
happening.
see
Who
that.
knows? If you don't know Kat Denning, probably Two Broke Girls, that TV show, might be the number one thing people recognize her from.
Okay, because I didn't know who you was talking about.
Yeah, I didn't really know until I looked her up. I'm like, okay, Two Broke Girls. I know who she is. She reminds you of Lizzie, you said, School?
Yes, Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh, okay, then got you. She reminds me of her. And America Ferrara, I just that time, 2004. I just thought it was interesting.
I can't, but
I didn't hear you mention this with Regina George, Alicia Cuthbert from Girl Next Door. You remember that joint?
I don't even remember that.
Oh man, that's another one of those teen movie.
Blonde from
Yeah, she's in the Ranch. That's the last thing that I seen her in. With Ashton, she plays Ashton Kutcher's wife in The Ranch. But yeah, look it up. You'll know it if you see it. If you see the poster, it's one of them posters, movie poster, classic posters. So. But
no
yeah,
showers on the ranch, I presume. Jonathan Bennett was a last-minute replacement due to the original actor who got the role of Arian Samuels being fired. Now, it's interesting because people involved in the film will openly discuss that there was somebody who was cast as Arian Samuels and he was fired, but nobody will say who that person was. So I have no idea who the original choice who actually got the job was, but apparently he had a terrible attitude and was shitty on set and they fired him.
Damn.
2004.
Yeah. I have no idea. Now, James Franco was considered for the role. He's not the one that got fired, but he was considered afterwards. And they gave it to Jonathan Bennett because Tina Fey said he looks like Jimmy Fallon. And Jimmy Fallon's my guy. Yeah, that's literally why he got the part. He reminds me of Jimmy Fallon. So we're going to put him in the movie. Because they were on SNL at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was her way of showing love. And then lastly, Steve Martin, who shout out to My Blue Heaven. One of me and School's favorite movies. But Steve Martin, just a comedy genius in general.
Yes.
He's a hero, like a comedy hero of Tina Fey's. And she personally asked him to play Principal Duval. And he was like, I'm honored, but I'm working on Cheaper by the Dozens. So I'm not available.
Yeah.
So the next person considered was Chevy Chase. And I can't remember what episode we discussed this on. Chevy Chase, world-class, first-team asshole. Like, first-team asshole, one of the worst people to ever, like, walk Earth. Right? Just it's documented. Just look it up. Google it. It is well documented, Chevy Chase's assholeness and how much people hate working with him. So mind you, he was, if he wasn't an original cast member, he was part of, like, some of the golden era of Saturday Night Live. When they brought the idea to Lorne Michaels, the creator of Saturday Night Live, who's producing this movie, he said absolutely not. Like, Chevy Chase is such an asshole. He got banned from hosting Saturday Night Live because of his behavior on the set in the 90s. Like, Lorne Michaels said, I don't care how important you are to this brand, you ain't never coming back here. Like, he slapped one of the female co-stars in the head or some shit. Like, he a dickhead. Like, look it up. Like, just look it up. He's a well documented. Just Google Chevy Chase. I don't know if Google will, like, hit up, like, put asshole in there, but Chevy Chase. I'm sure
it's many internet pieces written about Chevy Chase.
A ton of them, like a ton of them, well documented. But either way, that's how Tim Meadows got the job, another SNL alum, because Chevy Chase he's such an awful human being that the creator and the producer of the movie said, "Nah, I'm cool." First experiences. Mia, I want to hear about your first experience and why this movie still resonates 20 years later. What grade were you in when Mean Girls came out? 8th?
Oh, let's see. April 2004. I'm pretty sure I would have been in the 9th grade.
9th grade?
Eighth or
Nah, the school
No,
you would have been
yeah,
9th
I
grade.
would have been the
Mhm.
end of my 8th grade year.
Okay, then got you.
Yeah.
So 20 years later, this movie still resonates. What was it about it when it came out? What was your first experience like? Talk to me.
So I know I saw it in the theaters. I don't remember exactly who I saw it with. It could have only been like one of 3 people or probably a group of me and my friends. I know that it was just like instantly a favorite movie. Um, Even now, like with the remake, I went to see it, but there's just something about this movie. It's like one of the most quotable movies I've ever
Mhm.
seen, and it's something that I can turn on anytime. Like when I went to watch it for this episode, it had like the, start over because I had recently watched it. And I feel like it's a movie that as I get older, it just never loses any of its impact. It just continues to be just as good. Um, and I start to resonate more with different characters. Like the more I watch it, like now that I'm older, I kind of like I can see like Miss Norberry, and I'm like, okay. Because as a kid watching it, you're like, oh my gosh, she is tragic. But then it's like, oh,
Mhm.
I get it, girl. Life be hard.
Yeah,
Life do be hard.
life be lifing, huh?
But I
No,
love it
So
though. It brings me back. Like when I watch it, it makes me feel like a teenager again. Like it just brings
Yes.
back that feeling. And it's like there was nothing cutesy about it. I really loved that it was just like real comedy and you could like they weren't trying to be politically correct, which is one of the issues I had with the remake. Like
mm,
it was just so real and raw. Like it was like the jokes were a little bit raunchy, but not over the top. And it was just like, I don't know. There's just nothing that I don't like about it.
Yeah.
Rachel, I want to ask you the same thing, and then I have a question for both of you before we get to school.
okay.
Rachel, 20 years ago, your first experience with Mean Girls.
Yeah, I actually did not see Mean Girls in the theaters. 2004, I was at the precipice of my pro-black era. In
Mhm.
my little white Catholic school. So that was right before I went to Africa for the first time. So I did not see Mean Girls. I actually didn't see Mean Girls until summer 2005.
Oh, you already graduated high school.
Yeah, I had already graduated high school before I actually,
Oh, okay.
and shout
That's
out to Chris.
interesting.
He had it.
Chris had Mean Girls, and you was like,
Uh-huh.
let me check this out.
Yep. He was like,
What drew you to it? What made you want to watch it?
Chris made me.
Okay. Was
Yeah,
it
that was
a
really it.
was it an instant like, oh, I love this movie?
It's like, oh my God, why didn't you make me watch this earlier? I had not
Hmm.
seen it. I had heard the quotes, but again, it just did not resonate because I was just on a different personal journey at the time. But yeah, no, I have loved this movie since then. And because we do go so far back, if you remember back freshman year of college when Facebook used to have words to describe you, this, that, and the third, or random quotes. Me and Faye, shout out to Faye, we used to have all the Mean Girls quotes in our little About Me section
Wow.
on Facebook back in the old collegiate only Facebook
I was
days.
about to
It's
say
illegal.
collegiate only. Yeah.
You had to have the EDU. You only had one
Exactly.
picture. There wasn't no
Exactly.
albums. You had one picture.
That's it.
Like all that shit. I
Yeah.
remember that on yesterday. Nah, them OG Facebook days, man. What a
I
time.
didn't make the
What
cut.
a time.
Hey, I made the cut. I remember I had man, stop it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What a time to be alive.
Making
So
shit
let
up.
me. I want to get into high school experience a little bit with that. At school, I ain't forget about you,
No,
but
no, no.
Tina Fey was talking about the legacy of this movie, and
Hmm.
she was saying like the adults are the ones who are laughing at this movie. Like it's a funny film. It's the adults laughing. Like the girls who were high school age or around that age, some things were funny, but they were more so living it and kind of in it versus seeing the humor and all that stuff in it. So I'm asking that to ask you, how did you resonate with it as far as your personal high school experience? Or was it more so I resonate with this because I am a woman who is high school age or around high school age and can get it, but I didn't necessarily go through this per se?
I think it was just funny.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily go through this. I mean, we've talked about it before. I went to a private high school, probably 80% white, 20% black. And that's low key being generous. I guess you could say there was a table of unfriendly black hotties. I mean, I think that we're all across colors, creeds, we're all cliquish regardless. So I think that the breakup of the different high school groups is relatable. Like the band geeks were in fact fucking. It was the cool black tables and then the alternative. Like we are cliquey by nature. So I think that they got a lot of things right. Even if it wasn't 100% spot on, it was about 92 for sure.
So, Mia, with this being right before you're entering high school, did you think that this was going to be what your high school years would be like?
So it was a little different for me because I went to Walnut Hills and I started in the 7th grade. So I was already kind of in that environment. And no, it wasn't like that. I mean, yeah, it was cliquish, I guess. But at Walnut, we were all just trying to survive the academics. So we like everybody pretty much got along. There was no like there were popular kids and it was very diverse. So I wouldn't say like it was just like a black table or what, like it was, but it wasn't really like that. Again, I just thought it was funny. Like it was just um I liked seeing like the I don't know, because it wasn't a lot of black representation in the movie other than the unfriendly black hotties, which is I always called myself an unfriendly black hottie. Um but no, it was just a good movie. It was just funny. Like being in high school, yeah, you can relate to some things. Like there were things that were relatable, but for the most part, it was just an enjoyable movie the way I would enjoy any other comedy. It was just, female representation, I guess, that I liked. I like seeing women be funny.
Yeah.
I got you. I can respect that. And shout out to Walnut Hills. Big Sis went to Walnut. Pops went to Walnut. So just want to shout out Walnut Hills. School, your first experience with the film.
Man, one of my first dates was with Mean Girls, man. I went to go see good old Mean Girls. And I don't remember who I went with, but I do remember leaving that theater infatuated to another level with Lindsay Lohan. Like I went, bro, you can attest to this. When it comes to what ifs, Lindsay Lohan is one of those on my list. Like because her
hold on, explain that.
Hold on.
What you mean by that?
Let me finish. Acting wise. What ifs, actors and actresses.
I thought you were about to say if I was in the same city as Lindsay Lohan, I would have.
No.
I thought you would say it that way.
I was like,
I'm like, shout out to you, School. I love it.
I feel that Lindsay Lohan career pretty much after this kind of went to the shitter. But at this point of her career, we thought that Lindsay Lohan was going to take the fuck off. Like Emma Stone. Like Emma Stone has 2 Oscars. Like Lindsay Lohan could act. She played 2 people in what's the movie we was just talking about? Parent Trap. Like you said, brother, the degree of difficulty with that. She played 2 different characters and she's one person. She just came off of Freaky Friday. Like Lindsay could do no wrong. She was pushing them out. So I thought she was going to transition into adulthood and take over the world. And it just never happened. So she's definitely one of them what ifs for me. I loved her career.
I can understand that. I believe that if I'm not mistaken, she's retired from feature films.
As she should
Said
be.
She just did a movie
I
recently.
was just about to say, I feel like she's
Is
on
she-
a press run for a movie right now.
She did.
Okay, then I know
she's in Mean
she's got a
Girls.
Netflix. She's got a Netflix something.
It's a
But I think
Christmas movie, I think.
I know there's a movie called Irish Wish that's coming out this year. And she did have a Christmas movie, so I could be wrong. I think feature films was what it was. I don't think she's doing studio. I could be wrong. I could be making this up. Please don't take my word for it. But I had mentioned something I saw something doing my research that kind of mentioned that. And school, to your point, recently there was an article in the New Yorker. Somebody named Richard Brody wrote this article.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just the best acting performances of the 21st century. And he had Lindsay Lohan and Mean Girls at number 11.
I'm telling you, bro. She did her thing.
Yeah, he had her at number 11. One ahead of Natalie Portman in Black Swan, and one behind Joe Pesci in The Irishman. So she was squeezed in between there.
Oh.
And not to mention, just shout out to that list. If, like I said, Richard Brody, The New Yorker, if you want to Google it, because I don't normally agree with lists, and they try to make them too mainstream. His was a very accurate list, and you'll like this, school. Number 17 on his list, best performances of the 21st century, Eddie Murphy and Norbit.
See? Come on, man. Get that man some
And
love.
you're the biggest, school is the biggest Norbit advocate
like y'all in Soul Plane
in the world.
Like,
like
y'all
us in
do
Soul
Soul
Plane, I guess.
Plane.
But the Lindsay Lohan But the Lindsay Lohan conversation leads to my next point. I told you guys I'm not the most versed with this. I wasn't around when Mean Girls was at the peak of its hype. And I want to kind of ask, is Cady the iconic character in this movie, or is it Regina?
It's Regina.
It's Regina.
So why isn't Rachel McAdams on more of these lists? And like I see, like Lindsay won the awards and the whole nine, but I feel like I walk away from this film wanting more Regina, or is it because she had the easier job of being the mean girl?
I was gonna say because Cady is the star, like she's the protagonist. It's about her.
She's the hero.
To the victor goes the spoils. Even though Rachel McAdams had a stellar performance, but this is 2004. Also, we get The Notebook in 2004. So I think that all of Rachel's, I don't want to say her credit, but all of the acclaim goes to her for The Notebook versus Mean Girls, just because it was a total departure. Ironically enough, though, just to backtrack us just a little, Mean Girls is not my favorite Lindsay Lohan movie. It's Georgia.
What is it?
Georgia Rule.
Georgia Rule.
Too.
Okay,
that was good. That was good.
So let me ask you both this, or you three this. Excuse me. Is this a situation where? How do I want to ask this? If somebody else plays Regina, is the movie just as good? If somebody else plays Cady, is the movie just as good, or is it a package deal? Is it just because those two were so good at both of these roles that it made the film what it is? Like I guess what I'm trying to figure out is who's the MVP if there is one, or is it a co-situation where we need both of them?
I think you need both. So I'm going to first off say shout out to you, Rachel, because I was definitely going to bring up Rachel McAdams' run that she was on for this movie. She did this Notebook, and then she did Wedding Crashers after this. So she once again went into that bag of comedy. So she could show that she was dope. And I think you have to give it to Lindsay just because of what you said. Like, we see Rachel McAdams is. If you told me then at that very moment who was going to be the better actor or actress, I would say Lindsay, but I would say that Rachel has the better film choices. Like, she was on a hell of a run. But you do need both of these characters to be good. Now, if you flop them out, you're not going to believe that Rachel McAdams, who is 25 doing this, she barely made the cut for Regina to me. There's moments in this movie where I look at her and I'm like, you can see she's a little older. but I don't think she could have played a 16-year-old Cady. I think that would have been a little bit too much.
And that is also a part of why she didn't get it, because the studio was like, she a little too old to play Cady.
But so was Gretchen. Gretchen was old too.
And I'm assuming because of they're not the star. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah,
because Lindsay was 18 when it came. So she was the closest to.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is interesting because my only pushback to that argument was they're all playing the same age girl. But they're all supposed to be 16, so it doesn't matter if one is the other.
I get it. There's a certain innocence that Cady had that the other girls didn't have. And like in the beginning, when you first see the plastics, you kind of like, even though they're supposed to be high school juniors, they have like this maturity to them that Cady doesn't have. And so I get why you can put some makeup on a girl and dress her differently and make her look more mature, but you can't really get a girl to tone it down and look 16 if she's 20.
Yeah.
Like if you get what I'm trying to say.
I get you. I know what you mean.
School, were there mean girls at our school? Were there plastics at our school?
Yes,
were there? I don't listen. I might have been just totally oblivious to this. Shout out to men staying out of women's business.
I guess
I was one of those. Yeah. I was because you probably were more aware of it. Me and school went to school together. And I don't know. We had similar experience. I don't know. You know how I was in high school, bro. Like that shit was off my radar, man. I was just doing me. So I didn't know if that was really a thing. I was trying to think about it. Like, damn, did we have mean girls? I meant to ask Good. Like, who was the mean girls in our class? And I probably, if he said some names, I'd probably be like, oh, damn, you're right. But at the top of my head, I don't even remember it. So I think that's another reason why when I watch the film, I watch it for the quality of the film versus tying it back to my high school experience. Because I'm like, I don't even remember it being like this. And I know there was a couple. I was thinking about the male version of this. I'm like, you had probably a couple like jocks who thought they were more than what they were. But that's really about it. Like we kept it pretty cool. The most relatable thing was the cafeteria to me. Sure. I think that's universal.
For sure.
But outside of that, I just love the quality of the film. But it always makes me wonder, like, damn, whose high school like experience was like this? And I'm sure it happens. And like I said, that goes to the whole women's perspective. I think it's a woman's point of view. It's made for that audience, and the rest of us get in where we fit in. I gotta ask you guys this. I want to know where this ranks with other high school classics. And we'll talk about of current day, like not current day, but that era. We won't talk about like Breakfast Club or Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Cooley High or Grease. We'll take those movies out of it. But is this like your favorite high school movie? Matter of fact,
I would have to think of a list of high school movies.
Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's play a Culture Garden favorite game. Let's play this or that. Let's play this or that. Okay. So, Mean Girls or American Pie?
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
Really think about this. You really think about this. All right. Mean Girls or Cruel Intentions?
Cruel Intentions.
Man, Cruel Intentions ain't no damn. That's an adult movie, man.
It is, but it's high school.
Nah, man, I ain't going.
Right.
What about Wild Things? You putting that on the list?
Cruel Intentions. They were in high school in Cruel Intentions, bro.
All of the main characters in Cruel Intentions were in high school.
Yeah, like I
know that, but the themes on that movie is super adultish. Like my mama wouldn't let us watch that shit.
That's fair. There are movies like so like Remember the Titans and stuff. I didn't include that because I feel like it's more than a high school movie. So we'll take Cruel Intentions out. So, Rachel, I want to hear your answer on this. Mean Girls or Easy A?
Fuck. I love Easy A.
That's a classic.
Mean Girls.
I'm surprised by that answer.
I know. I don't even know
what you got.
I love Easy A.
I'm going Mean Girls as well.
Mia?
I do really love Easy A. I love that movie. But I have to go with Mean Girls too.
All right, this might fall into the Cruel Intentions bag, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Some people say this is the last great high school movie to ever be made. Mean Girls or Superbad? It's really not a fair question because they're so different.
Yeah.
Completely different experiences. I'm not mad at you can like both of them for different reasons.
Shout out to McLovin. I'm still going Mean Girls.
Shout out to Emma Stone again.
Emma Stone, shout out to her. You still going Mean Girls? School, where you going?
I'm still going Mean Girls as well, though.
I'm
still
Mia?
going Mean Girls.
I really love Superbad, but for different reasons. So I have to go with Mean Girls.
I'm going Superbad. I told y'all earlier, I was in that whole frat pack lane.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow came and took that lane over. Obviously, this is a direct reflection of that, so I'm going Superbad. That was right up my crude sense of humor. Yeah, crazy sense of humor. Like, I can't believe he just said that type of thing. So I'm going Superbad on that one. A couple more. Mean Girls or Bring It On?
Bring It On.
I might go. I'm going Mean Girls. Ain't it? I'm going Mean Girls.
I gotta go with Bring It On.
You gotta go with Bring It On. Bring It On is one of those. It might be up there with Mean Girls as far as like the cult classic status.
Yeah.
Like as far as like the people who love Bring It On do not play about Bring It On.
Not at all.
The same way the people who love Mean Girls do not play about Mean Girls. Like that's I would love to see that battle overall. But that's all right. That's interesting. I got two more. I think these two, along with Bring It On, are probably mentioned as this era, this generation's best high school movies. The first one is Mean Girls or 10 Things I Hate About You.
10 Things I Hate About You.
I'm going Mean Girls again.
Shout out to Shakespeare.
I have to go with Mean Girls because I was late to the party with 10 Things I Hate About You. And I really do love it. And I love Julia Stiles, but Mean Girls is just a little bit more meaningful to me.
Yeah.
Understood. I respect that. I'm going 10 Things I Hate About You. I think I feel that way about how everybody feels about Mean Girls. Like as far as just that high school, it just has everything that you want. Mean Girls is much more quotable though. That's one thing I will say about, and not just high school movies. You can put Mean Girls with any movie as far as the quotes go. And it's just, they rattle off. When you watch this movie, I like to sometimes watch, and I'm sick in the head. Sometimes I like to watch movies without looking at it. I can just kind of have the audio and I'm playing it back in my own head. And just how many quotes you pick up that way is just crazy. But the last movie I'm going to ask you guys about before we get into categories and things like that, Mean Girls or Clueless?
Mean Girls.
Damn.
You said that pretty like definitively, Rachel.
Yeah, I wasn't a Clueless girl. Not the movie, but the show.
I might go Clueless. I think I'm going Clueless.
I have to go with Clueless.
Yeah. Go Clueless. Okay.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Rolling with the homies.
Rolling with the homies.
I saw Clueless for the first time when I was like 4, 5.
Hey, it's a classic.
Funny story. Me, moms, and big sis went to go see Clueless in 95. They thought it was boring, and we left that theater and went to the theater across to go see Dangerous Minds.
Well,
I will never forget that. Yeah, I'll never forget that because that was the first time in my life where we left the theater and went to another movie at the same time, like without tickets. And back in, you know how it is back in the 90s. So yeah, that was fun, man. I'm not gonna ask you guys which one of your favorite out of all of those. We'll talk about that another day. Maybe we'll have a high school episode. Who knows? But the only other thing I want to talk about before scenes is Mean Girls 2. Did anybody see that? Not the one that just came out, not the Broadway, but did anybody see Mean Girls 2 that came out in 2011?
No.
I saw it.
All right, so since you're the only one that saw Mean Girls 2 and the latest one, the musical, just give us a quick rundown of your feelings of both of them, and if you would want, how do you feel about a sequel never happening, an official sequel? Because there were talks about it. Everybody was on board. It just never happened. And Tina Fey says, I regret not doing it when everybody was asking me to do it. So what are your thoughts on Mean Girls 2 and the musical?
Okay, Mean Girls 2 was awful. It was pretty much the same exact plot. It was a girl from out of town. She was kind of like the, you know what they say, like the not like other girls girl. Oh, sorry about that.
Damn, I didn't even know you could do that. What was that? Shit.
No. But and it was like the Junior Plastic, same exact deal. You know, they didn't like her, and it was like a little bit more of a late you know how they had those like, you guys probably have never seen any of this stuff that I'm thinking about, but I have little sisters, so like they would watch like the Bratz movies and stuff like that, where it was almost exactly the same. Like it was a little bit more hijinks in Mean Girls 2, like a lot more like actual pranking or, you know, sabotage than in the original, but it was really watered down. The comedy was really bad. It was really like teen pop type of like comedy, really cutesy, and I hated it. The musical, I will say it was fun to watch that one time. Like, it wasn't bad, but I'm such a fan of the original that a lot of the things that they changed worked for today, but it watered it down to me. Like, of course, they wokened it up a bit, made it, you know, a little bit more politically correct. They changed things around. And you know, I'm a child of the 90s. I don't like that. Like, I like what it was.
Yeah.
The music wasn't bad, but I could have done without it.
Got it.
I did I'll say the only two characters that I really, really liked from the musical were the guy who played Damien and the girl who played Regina George.
Was that Renee Rapp?
I don't know. Yeah, the singer, the she was really good as Regina George. I really enjoyed her performance, and I enjoyed Damien. Everybody else was, even the girl who played Cady, were very forgettable. Even like with the original Mean Girls,
they made Damien black in the musical.
Why wouldn't he? She said they woken it up. Shit.
Yeah, you're right.
He was black. Janice was Hispanic. The girl who played Gretchen, like
Lebanese.
The girl who played Gretchen was she was Indian, I believe. Like, and you know, it was just like, even the girl who played Gretchen and the girl who played Karen, like their characters were like a caricature of the characters.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like Amanda Seyfried, really, like, you believe she was like really just
a douchebag, right?
But she had personality though. The girl who played her in the musical, it was kind of just like this blank, dead behind the eyes, absent-mindedness, but it wasn't like just like I'm just stupid, but there's still a person in here. So it was fun for the experience, like to get dressed up and go to the theater and see it and see how they brought back the characters, but I would never watch it again.
Interesting.
Got it.
And I can do without a sequel. I could have done without that. I think some stuff they just need to leave alone.
I'm a firm believer in that. Damn, Mean Girls 2 was a flop. That's crazy. It only because it was made straight for video, and it just reminds me of the joy of straight to video movies back in the day. You can find some gems. School, you might remember Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Yes.
That went platinum. That went
Super
platinum at
platinum.
1480.
What? Classic.
Super platinum. Straight to video classic to me. But let's go ahead and get into categories. I'm going to go ahead and let you three kind of navigate this. Mia, we'll start with you since you're our guest. But let's get into best scenes. Let's kick it off.
Okay, so for my first one, I just had like Cady's first day of school. And basically the scene of her first meeting Miss Norberry, when she runs into her and you meet her, you meet Mr. Duval, and you kind of just get a feel for what her perspective is on public school because she's never been there. Like you get a fresh perspective on all the things that, because we went to high school, so none of that is new, but seeing it from like a fresh perspective, like, oh, you can't go to the bathroom, these grown-ups don't trust me, what's going on?
And that's really crazy when you think about it. Like, I have to use the bathroom. What are we talking about here?
Exactly. So I thought it was like a good way to introduce the environment.
For sure. I had the intro too, just because it's the intro. We meet everybody, see her background, and we get our true layout of the school situation, or at least this first class. We meet our characters.
I just have to comment on the opening scene just because the classic trope. We got a new student all the way from Africa. Of course, a black girl. Then, oh, welcome. And she like, I'm from Michigan. What the fuck you talking about? Like, just that class. That was just some silly shit.
And that's the comedy that they left out in the new one.
Oh yeah, ain't no way they doing that in 2024. But that shit was funny. That's because that's
perfect.
It's funny because if you've been that black person, like what the fuck? Like, fuck out of here. But there's another scene that they had that kind of similar thing that makes me weak every time. School, what's your scene?
I'm right there with y'all with the opening scene. I think this movie was very smart, especially in the opening of it. It had a lot to do, and it only could tell you in like the first 5 minutes. It was a lot. It had to introduce a lot of characters. It just had a lot to do in the first 5 minutes, and it does it very well. So yeah, the opening scene is dope. I fucks with it.
Okay, I told one story. I do have one scene I want to talk about just to move us along, and that's the cafeteria scene. I mentioned earlier.
That's my next scene.
Yeah. I just want to touch on this briefly, and I'll pass it over to you, Rachel. Okay. I mentioned earlier just how the cafeteria was your social status. That said so much about the ranks of high school and where you sat and where you didn't choose to sit. And I say we, the blacks. But no, a lot of the black kids, cool black kids, or whatever you want to call us, we sat at a certain lunch table. And it really even said a lot if you was another black person and you went to a different table. We kind of was like, oh, okay. Like, and it was just, it felt like all eyes on us, but it was our own hierarchy. A lot of us, we went to school since forever. And that's just where when you get to high school, you're not in class with all your friends like you were maybe in elementary or so. So that's the moment where you might see your peoples. Like I said, me and school went to school together. So it'd be cool if we had a lunch break together. Like, boom, let me rap with my brother.
Yeah,
like all types of stuff. Like, so it was just that moment. And the Jumbo part is hilarious to me. Like when she walks by that black table, it's Jumbo, because she really thought she was being friendly, and her like looking like, maybe yo, get the fuck out of here. What? Huh? Yeah. So that's always hilarious. And eating in the bathroom stall is nuts. I really hope nobody I went to high school with felt that they had to eat in the bathroom stall. Like y'all could have came sit with me.
Oh, people definitely ate in the bathroom.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Damn. I wish I could give them all a hug.
No,
need it, man. But go ahead, Rachel. Get into the scene. That's all I
was going to say. So, you were talking about the first lunch table. My next one is the first pink lunch table where Cady.
When she meets the plastics.
Yeah, when she actually sits with them. And Gretchen is giving Cady the rules.
Yes.
This is where she has on Damien's
pink polo.
Super oversized pink polo.
Yeah.
Again, Wednesdays we wear pink. I think I wore pink on Wednesdays. High key. Just because I loved it so much, and pink is still very much my favorite color. But just because you need to understand the lay of the law here in high school. High school can be traumatic for people. But I just appreciated that every clique, they might be unwritten rules, but you got some stuff like, okay, now we're not about to be out here doing no bullshit. I'm
Yeah.
not about to let you be out here looking crazy. So if that means that you can only wear your hair in a ponytail once a week, hey, I guess you pick today.
Mhm.
Tomorrow you better have that shit curled or down, like something. I just love that. And again, you have um Damien um,
Janice.
and Ken
Janice.
and Janet
Janice.
off to the side, gawking, also trying to figure out what's going on, encouraging Cady, but also low key hating just a little bit.
Always.
I just appreciated all of that.
Nah, I feel that, man. And I wish that I wish everybody in the 2000s had a crew of the Plastics that
Mhm.
could have told us about ourselves as far as the dress codes, because it was disgusting the way we dressed in 2003, 4, 5, all that.
This movie didn't help.
Bro, I talk about it all the time, man. We'll never that era. I hope never comes back. I know fashion like recycles. I hope that era never comes back. 5X tall
Yeah,
tees and all that shit. That shit was nasty.
I was in a
Nasty
uniform
work.
now. So
You was in a uniform. That's different. I'm talking about 2X tall tees. The 6'6" niggas in the city really getting mad at us because like y'all little niggas got all our shit. Like, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Speaking of being fresh, shout out to Damien, because Damien had on a pair of red T Mac 2s,
It's fire.
which was fire back in the day.
Fire.
I still will rock those shoes today, but they was fire. Mia, what's your next scene?
Okay, so I have
Hold on, I'm sorry.
What?
I don't know if y'all heard Rachel.
No, what she say?
I don't know if y'all familiar with the dude on the internet. I ain't
I
fresh.
ain't fresh. Go ahead, Mia.
Go ahead, man. Don't mind me, man. That shit's hilarious. Go ahead.
okay. So I have the mall scene leading to going to Regina's house for the first time and meeting Amy Poehler's character, Miss George, and just seeing like the dynamic of Regina's family, how she kind of like is a mean girl at home too.
Mm-hmm.
And the like the little sister in the mirror dancing to milkshake, and then the mom,
Unsupervised.
yeah, and the mom like thinking she's cool, like wanting to be one of the girls, and with her like her the dog chewing on her nipple.
Crazy.
Hey,
Crazy.
shit's wild.
But it's also the introduction of the burn book, and you kind of see like that this is going to play a part at some point, because when she says about Damien, oh, he's almost too gay to function, and they write it down, she's like, oh,
That's
shit.
it.
And you know that that's going to come back at some point.
Yeah. And I know you don't like this, Rich, but one of my favorite things about this movie is the narration. Like, this one of those movies where it plays
worked.
perfect. I
It
think
worked.
that another shout out to Lindsay again. Lindsay had a lot of work to do on this film, man. She really did. She had to play another character when she eventually, we'll get into that scene because it's definitely one of my favorites. Is when she realizes that she's the new Regina George. But to go back to both of y'all, because both of y'all said great scenes, and I didn't really get to say anything. You said the scene, the first original table scene. I love that scene because I love when Regina George. Now, so far, we haven't really met Regina George, and Janice is just telling Cady about Regina George. So she doesn't know anything. Man, she gets at that table, and one of the first things she tells her is, "You're really pretty." And she says, "Thank you." She says, "So you agree with me?" She said, "Agree with what?" "That you're really pretty." Like that manipulation. Like this lady's nuts, bro.
I love it.
And what you said when you was talking about Amy Poehler, I think this is the first time we really get to see Amy Poehler. I think I'm not gonna say she's my scene stealer, but she's definitely up there in conversation. because she was a nobody before this movie came out. She was barely getting time on SNL. And this movie changed her career. I mean, she became a household name. And we all know a cool mom who thinks she's the coolest shit on planet Earth. And I don't know about you, but I've been to enough parties where a mom or dad has told me, like, you can drink, just don't leave. You can't leave. Like, yo, you must be the cool dad. So yeah.
100%. I agree with you, School. The narration works in this film. Dare I say it's needed, but it definitely works. Especially when you think about especially when you think about the beginning. Like, they took us right into it. Like, as soon as we start the film, it's not like Cady's a kid and we're learning about her time in Africa. Now your parents sending you to school, like, you in it right from the first moments of the film. So it definitely works. Rachel, what do you have next for scenes?
I'll move us down to the Halloween party. So does anybody have anything before that? No,
I don't. No.
Okay. Yeah. So we get to Erin's Halloween party. Again, Cady is green. She thinks that it's a genuine, scary Halloween party. She's not been, in the words of Janice, properly socialized. So she doesn't know that by the time you get to high school, which is crazy, the gory costumes, that's out. It's time to be. Damn, we was talking about Quiet on the Set earlier. I don't want to call teenagers as sex kittens, but but I'll say that the aesthetic has very much changed than Ex-Wife and Gore, unless you're really, really into makeup and that's what you're actually going for, and they still might fishnet it up or something with that by that age. So just again, to Cady's lack of awareness, and then School, to your point, this is us really meeting Regina George.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've survived the first three-way call, the first three-way attack.
That was crazy.
However, I see that you're really a scheming ass bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the start of Cady Heron's villain origin story.
Straight up.
When she realizes that no, this bitch ain't cool and Genesis tripping. I actually hate her also as well.
Yep. Damn.
Straight up. Like, and I love, to your point, you said it earlier, School, the narration in that moment was perfect because she was in the middle of saying, like, I don't know why Janice thinks and then she sees her kissing him. And it's like, oh shit. And that manipulation, everything. Even the fact that she really was on some, as soon as he responded in the way he did about Cady, she flipped it all up. Like, hell, now you got me fucked up.
Yep. She thought he wasn't interested and she just was being messy.
Mm-hmm.
I love a temperature check.
And that's why the scene that School mentioned, that's one of my favorite scenes because he's so, if you don't know her, she comes off as so nice, like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, she saved Cady from I forget his name.
Homeboy.
Homeboy. Jason. Jason's his name.
Jason.
She saved Cady from Jason. Looks like she's the hero, asking her genuine questions, and then the mind games. Oh, so you agree? You do think you're really pretty. And it's like, oh shit, she a little bit wild.
Yeah, she off that.
Mia, what's your next scene?
I was going to go into the whole them figuring out ways to sabotage Regina.
For sure.
And it's kind of more of a montage, but like they're talking at at Janice's job, the kind of like Bath and Body Works type of place that she's at. And talking about like what they can do to bring her down, and then going into like they cut the holes in her shirt, and then everybody starts cutting holes in their shirt, and they put the foot cream in her face cream, and Erin thinks it smells good, so it just makes him like want to kiss her more. And then they give her but then they figure out the calcium bars, and it finally starts to work a little bit. Like, okay, we finally found something we can do to really sabotage her.
Was that the same montage when they were trying to get her caught up cheating?
Yep.
Because they said she cheated.
No.
Not yet.
No,
Not yet. We
not
don't
Okay,
find
okay.
out about the cheating until
after the talent.
the holiday, the Christmas program.
Okay. I got you. I got you. I
Mhm.
got you. Yeah, man. Sabotaging is crazy. Like I
Mhm.
just taking down. Like that's how people spent their time in high school. That's nuts. School. What's your next scene?
I think it's going to be the Christmas show, man, the talent show, the deck the halls, the jingle all the ways. Nah,
Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle Bell Rock. First off, I just want to say as a parent, I'm not going. That was a little too provocative for them girls to be wearing all that. But as a 17-year-old viewer, I was with it.
Also,
shit
consider
changes.
minus the costume, they had been doing that exact routine for years. Remember, they
Yep.
said that back when that's the same choreography as when Janice was their friend. So that's at least she left in 8th grade. So that's at least
Yeah.
Middle
6th,
school.
7th
Yeah.
grade. Y'all doing the
Absolutely
same
not.
thing.
That is insane.
And
Yep.
it probably, even the little rock around, it probably was not sexy at
8th grade.
12, but then
Mhm.
once you turn and
Yeah.
you start doing some things,
And they
then
got the cool mama.
you got the cool mom co-signing.
You see, she was shit, she was
I
with
meant
it.
to say this when you brought it up, Rachel, just about the Halloween party and the way girls started dressing at that age. One thing that I think is very important to highlight about high school years, and this is something I reflect on as I get older, and I'm sure everybody does. High school was one of the first times where I felt grown.
Mm-hmm.
Like legit grown. I felt like an adult. I felt like I was more than capable to make every single decision about my life.
Mhm.
I didn't even know what I didn't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's just something to be said about that. I don't even know if I can properly put it into words, but just that when something clicks, and especially when you start driving and you really like, I can literally do everything by myself. I can stay home by myself. I can cook. I can drive. And part of that is the way you dress and the way you express yourself. As adults, we're like mortified. It's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, hell nah. Like,
Yeah.
cover up. Like, why are these? I'm that old nigga now. Like, why are these kids dressed like that? Like, where their
Yep.
parents at?
I know, crazy.
But in high school, as fellow high school students and classmates, it was one of those things you understood. Now I look back, even the stuff I was doing, I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I was so emotionally immature to be doing some of these things and not fully understanding what was going on. Not saying it didn't feel right at the time, but older, I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like maybe that's a cause of some of the shit I got going on today. Like, it's just one of those things. I just think it should be mentioned when we're talking about teenage, like what it was like to be a teenager and nobody being able to tell you shit. Like I know
Can't tell me
everything.
nothing.
Like, what you gonna tell me?
Yeah.
I remember being looking up the state laws, and in Ohio at the age of 17, you're a legal adult. I remember hitting my mom with that. Like, I'm 17 now, I'm grown. Like, I'm an adult. And it's like,
that's
what?
the last thing you want to say. Because nah, she didn't talk about it. I Kim ain't playing no games.
God
Get your
protects
grown ass out my house. You said what, Rachel?
God protects babies and fools. And I was
That's right.
I couldn't I had a car in high school. I didn't have no license. I could not get a license because I was on punishment literally every year for thinking I was in fact grown. I went to driver's ed my senior year, and one of the driver's ed teachers was like a sub at our school. He was like, insert last name. What are you doing here? Yeah. I said, listen, I've been on punishment since my freshman year.
That's wild.
Every time I get off, I get back up.
And you want to hear something crazy? I say all that shit about me being grown. School was the wild nigga. I wasn't even nowhere near like school. Am I lying on you?
You ain't lying on me, man.
I ain't lying on them, man. School was the wild nigga. So even though I thought I was grown, school was really out here being grown.
Listen, I had to be. I was always Kyron's cousin. Every time we went somewhere, ain't you Kyron's cousin? I said, I got to make a name for myself. They got
Oh,
me
Lord.
fucked up.
Oh,
I
Lord.
never, yeah, because like school. Matter of fact, school even. I won't tell the story, but school got his nickname of Schoolboy because that first year we weren't in school together. So when I was a freshman in high school and he was still in middle school, like he acted out so bad that year that I had to give him the name Schoolboy. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day.
Yeah, man.
But even small stuff, I remember, and we'll keep moving with scenes. But I remember school. School, you a wild nigga. I remember school used to be gambling and rolling dice in the bathroom, right? And I told this nigga, I told school, I said, school, man, like, get your money, bro. But I just want you to know, as far as school guidelines and shit, like that's you can get suspended for this. Like you can get suspended for gambling. I know it's stupid to us, but that's just what it is. He's like, all right, man, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be cool. No bullshit. 48 hours later, I go down to the offices to do something. I look to my left, this nigga school sitting in the chair. I'm like, what happened? Gambling in the bathroom. I just look.
Babies and fools. Babies and fools.
Babies and fools.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my dog, School. Man, he was a good kid.
I came up though. I came up though.
Yeah.
And moms took the bread. Shout out to moms.
Yeah, she definitely took the bread from him too. Like, niggas, my money.
Nah, the teacher came and was like, was this your money? Is all this, was this 120 yours? My mom told me, yes, I gave it to him this morning. Shit.
Oh shit, man. I think it's on you again, Rachel, because School, your last one was the Christmas dance, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool. So I'll just piggyback on that just a little bit. Beyond the girls' performance, but even Kevin G's performance, like ridiculous. Damien's
shit's hilarious.
Damien's hilarious.
Don't look beautiful. Christina Aguilera's "I Am Beautiful" had the world in a chokehold. And again, this might just be the difference between going to a private school, pre-K through 12. But when I tell you them folks loved that song, and don't be an outlier, like it was truly the rallying cry. So it was perfect for Damien to be singing "I Am Beautiful." I just had a thought. Is Damien the precursor to Cam from Modern Family? Just let that sit in your spirit. I literally just thought about
it. I think you might be onto something with that, Rachel. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right. So, but behind the scenes, beyond the curtain, where Cady, who now has fallen and she's become the school sweetheart, she really is the second. She's knocked Gretchen out of the way for second in command behind Regina. So Gretchen spiraling behind the curtains, pre and post performance is perfect to me, because this is where we're really, really, really seeing the chinks in the Gretchen, in the plastics armor, or cracks in the plastic, you know. Because this is where Gretchen is really, really spilling the secrets. And to our point earlier, we find out that she's cheating with Shane Oman. And so all the things that the hijinks that they had done leading up to this point, it didn't even matter. This is going to be their Roman Empire. This is the big thing. So now we've got to get into a montage of figuring out ways to get Aaron Samuels to catch Regina and Shane Oman. So everything from a fake robbery to catching Train Pack and
Coach Carr
up in the film above the auditorium.
It was wild.
Whatever else happened, like it was just so ridiculous. But amazing film.
Yes.
Having a designated day to cheat, like the fact that she cheated every Thursday with this nigga, like having a designated day just let you know Regina was that deal.
Listen, she said she was a half a virgin. Shit.
What type of virgin when I met him?
Half a virgin.
That leads, but honestly, for real, like one of my favorite quotes in this film is when Aaron's saying, like, you know, we all have good and evil in us. Regina's just more upfront about it. Like, she was just being her. Like, you got to respect it to some degree.
Yeah.
Mia, before you get into your scene, I have a real quick question for you, Rachel.
Yes.
and it might not even matter because you went to Catholic school your entire life. Did you ever have a longing for going to public school and seeing what that was like, or were you so acclimated in the private school world that it didn't matter?
Me, first off, I wanted to go to public school so bad. So bad. Me, who at one point in time was an unfriendly black hottie amongst the black group of middle school before high school, who used to smoke Black and Milds
Oh,
in
man.
oh my god. I used to smoke Black and Milds in this fucking Catholic school gym before we changed to go. Like, I'm a menace to society, which was 1000% the reason that my parents were like, bitch, no, you're not going. You're
That
not
makes sense.
going. I wanted to go, even though, okay, I gotta stay at Jesu, fine, whatever. If you're familiar with Toledo, I wanted to go to Scott so fucking
I was
bad.
going to ask you. That was my next question, Rachel. Which public school would you have gone to?
I wanted to go. I would have gone to Start because Start was my district. I wanted to go to Scott. Jim and Rhonda said, "You're out of your fucking mind." Either you go to Central, which was and still is to this day the most diverse of the Catholic schools. And also, I mean,
Notre
there's
Dame.
which, huh?
Was the other option Notre Dame?
I had to, or Notre Dame. That's it. But Central was co-ed, and Ursula and Notre Dame were not. So I was like, send me where.
I know we might not have a ton of Toledo listeners, and me spending 6 years in Toledo.
Yeah.
I will say this. I've seen like Rachel might post like something from high school, like a yearbook photo or something like that. Extremely diverse compared to like when you think about the Catholic schools in Cincinnati.
For sure.
Maybe like our co-ed Catholic schools are different. So same way Toledo has St. John's, which is all boys, St. Francis, all boys, Notre Dame, all girls. We have that too. We have our Molars and our Elders and our X. But the co-ed school, your Roger Bacons and your Purcells, they are pretty diverse, especially today. Like you'll be like, damn, all these black kids go to this private school. Like, they letting these niggas in here? Like it's one of those type of diversities.
And that was pre-voucher.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Shout out to Toledo Central Catholic, man. Like a great school,
Yeah,
great athletic program, state champs, all types of shit. So it definitely was something when I got to Toledo, it was one of those schools where you're like, oh, you went to Central? You went to Central?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
So yeah. Mia, what's your next scene?
Okay, so I have Cady's party, but because of everything that led up to the party. So now she's like the queen plastic because they've essentially ruined Regina's, they've fed her the calcium bar. She can't fit in her dress no more. She can't fit her jeans. She comes to the school in sweatpants and you can't sit with us. They have the party. They don't invite her. They invite Aaron. And this is where you kind of get like, okay, Cady, you're kind of like a mean girl for real. Like you kind of like you were playing the part, but now this is just in you for real. And you see how Gretchen and Karen just kind of like follow her around. They don't know what to do. And she's like, trying to figure out how to play the part, how to be like the queen bee. They invite all these people. She doesn't know any of these people. And then Aaron comes and, she finds him in her room. And basically, everything kind of comes to a head this night. This is when she gets found out by Janice and Damien for, basically playing them for this party when she was supposed to be in Madison with her parents. She doesn't get found out by Regina, but she basically is like,
Well, she does get found out because her dude was on the wrestling team.
Yeah.
And told her about the bars and at the end of that party, right? Yeah.
she gets found out for that, but not like the entire scheme. Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
this is kind of like the boiling point.
Oh yeah, it's the peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the peak of it, the climax.
Mhm.
Rachel, you about to say something? My bad.
I was gonna say that was my scene too. Just because it was so, I always say something is ridiculous, but it really was ridiculous. I don't think we talked about when the plotting and planning that took place thereafter, because
Yeah.
after this program, there is we call them candy grams. I can't remember what they're called in the movie, but
The
where
candy
again,
cane,
Yeah, they send
Candy
candy
grams,
canes.
yeah,
candy cane messages. Yeah.
where again the girls, Cady and Janice, are being strategic. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love an evil mind. I love an evil mind at work because I love making people pay. So no matter what, whoever it is, you know, you can get it. Um, I like that. Again, we shouted out Shakespeare earlier, but you know, E2 Brutus, you should totally just stab Caesar. Gretchen Wieners has lost her goddamn mind. Um,
Yes.
to your point, Mia, Gretchen, she was second, but if you think about it, her father, the inventor of toaster strudel, she got the real money, even though
Yep.
the Jew just had a little cash based on that house, and they in the Midwest. So yeah, y'all got some money. But the inventor of toaster strudel, Gretchen had the better car than Regina. She really should have been the top dog, but that's what I'm saying. When I said it's in Regina, it ain't on her. It
Mm-hmm.
was on Gretchen, it wasn't in her, because she should have been the top dog. But when you don't have like that
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
you,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get steamrolled, which is what happened. You end up being a yes person because we'll get to the end of the movie, because she just had to be a part of a clique versus like starting her
Yeah.
own thing or just being kind of a lone warrior. Obviously, after the party, my scene is Janice and Damien pulling up and catching Cady in the party or in
Mhm.
the aftermath of the party. Like,
Yeah.
me and my best friend say all the time, "You're a mean girl, Cady. You're a bitch."
Mm-hmm.
When one of us is being ridiculous, primarily me. So,
Yes.
I just like that because she was so lost in the sauce. Aside from being drunk, which I'm assuming was probably, other than at the Halloween party, she drank before that? Probably not.
Yeah.
So this spiked ass punch on
Mm-hmm.
your first real alcohol trip, you've thrown up in your crush's crotch.
Lap. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the only real friends that you have found you out to, in fact, to be
Mm-hmm.
now. I feel like, yes, Cady did Janice and Damien wrong, but I do in fact feel Cady when she was like, "Nigga, this is your fault. I would have never embarked on this journey if you didn't have this weird
Yeah. Obsession.
obsession, this weird
Mm-hmm.
grudge against her." Now, she was dead wrong for saying maybe you in love with me, especially finding out that was the rumor. But
Mhm.
as somebody who too has main character syndrome, sometimes you cannot help yourself. And that just is what it is. Shane backing down or telling Regina what the Caltine bars actually are, and her going home and having that screaming, that random scream, and that burn book. I don't know if you had a burn book, Mia.
We tried it out.
That's a damn shame.
I was gonna ask y'all if there was ever a burn book that you knew about or maybe potentially were a part of.
We gave it a shot.
Listen, can I get in on your scene real
Go
quick,
ahead.
Ray?
Go ahead.
Yes, come on, School.
Listen, I love that's definitely one of my favorite scenes. I definitely have that scene down specifically because of Janice. I don't think Janice really realized how much of a mean girl she really is, especially when it comes to treating
Everybody's
Damon.
mean.
Look how she treats Damon. Damon has to be at home.
Mhm.
Listen to what he's saying to her
It's
as
not
he's
110.
driving
I
And then
can't.
confronting Cady. She said, I'm not stopping this car. I'm late for curfew. My curfew's at 1 o'clock. But he knows that Janice is really the boss.
Yeah.
So that's my whole point with that scene. I love that scene, man. It's just dope.
It's also good. I just want to point out real quick how big. I know I mentioned earlier about how you feel like you're so grown at that age.
Mhm.
It's also your entire life. Is your high school social status. That's your life.
Yep.
Like that dictates 90% of what you do. The other 10% might be making your parents happy.
Yep.
But the other 90%, like how am I perceived by all these other people? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So to the hurts that it would be, like I couldn't imagine being in high school and finding out like good through a party and he ain't tell me about it. Like you my dog, bro. Like what are you talking about? Like why you ain't invite me? Like what's going on? Like it just would have. It's like that in high school. So that part of it I get. Why Janice and even Damien at the end was on some. He had the ad lib line like I want my pink shirt back. like we ain't fucking with you. Like that's real, man. That's real. And of course the famous message in that whole thing is like if you be yourself. If Cady would have just been herself, she would have had everything she wanted.
Yeah.
But she turned into something she didn't recognize and all of that. So I absolutely agree with that scene. Actually, School, I think you are next with the scenes. Do you have anything?
No, that was pretty much my last scene, honestly. I mean, besides, of course, the final melee.
Yeah, okay. So we'll go Mia, then Rachel. I don't know if you guys have any scenes before we get to like the ending and obviously the founding of the burn book and all that, but I'll just let you guys go. So Mia, what you got next?
No, that was gonna be it for me. When Regina tosses up
Shit hits the fan.
Just in the house, it just stands there and watches it all burn to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about manipulation. The fact that she went to even have the presence of mind to go home, take that book, dog myself to make it look like I'm a victim.
That was
Then you got the balls to go to the principal office like you ain't make the whole book to begin with and put on the act and everything. Like that's just so strategic. I'm like she's probably a CEO somewhere.
Yeah.
See, I was about to say that's that evil mind at work. She wrote, "This girl is a ugly slut," and you didn't see the picture she was putting in there, but you did not think it was going to be her. But
right,
I was like, "Yep, that's some Regina shit."
Yeah,
of course she put herself.
And there's nothing like and there's nothing. I don't care what goes on. There's nothing like high school drama.
For sure.
Like nothing like high school drama. So that's something that that's gonna be ringing through the halls. Like future classes are gonna hear about what happened in 2004 with the junior girls and all that. Like that's gonna be they set precedents.
Yeah.
So that part of it itself is crazy. Just Regina just overlooking, like you said, that shot of her just with that smirk on her face while watching everything else burn and everybody else is going through chaos. And even Principal Duval, that nigga
said he ain't leave the South Side for this.
Hey nigga, hell nah. Like I ain't leave the South Side for this. Like cause that was some real nigga shit. Like you feel I believed him when he said that. Like, nah, fuck this. Like I made it from the South Side of Chicago. Right. I ain't about to get kicked in the head from these little preppy squares. Like fuck y'all. Y'all got me wow. But Rachel, what's your next scene?
That's really it. So, she takes a burn book to the principal, the whole aftermath. I guess I have like the last 20 minutes of the movie written down. So that whole thing, Cady getting on punishment because I lived on punishment in high school, relatable content. Her punishment going with the mathletes, that whole aha come to Jesus, talking about people is not going to make your life better.
Just be yourself.
Rachel with the side eye, but we can keep going though.
Just be yourself.
No, evil geniuses. The spring fling, everybody making up. So it was just good. I guess I glossed over Miss Norberry actually having the assembly just because that was a really, really good scene.
Yeah, that's a workshop. We had one of them.
Yeah.
We will keep it here until 4:00.
Yeah.
Being personally victimized, and then the team building exercise,
The trust fall.
the trust falls, and
Mhm.
again, Gretchen and Karen just being completely oblivious. And to your point, School, Janice was also mean. And I
Mhm.
also understand getting niggas before they get you or before they have the opportunity to play the sympathy card. So
Yeah.
let me go ahead and get my round.
Janet, listen,
And
do you know how long Janice probably waited? Well, since 8th grade. She's been waiting since 8th grade to get her revenge.
But
it is.
even in that whole thing, Regina was still throwing jabs. She's
Yeah,
like,
Of
I guess that's
course.
her dream, falling into a big pile of women. Girl, okay, I got
Well,
something for you.
remember, even prior to that, during the workshop, she asked, could she leave? Because she didn't, she felt like she didn't do anything to anyone. Like, come
playing
on,
the victim,
man. Even
man.
the teachers was raising their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Throw a stone and hide your hand, man. That was
Yep.
Regina, but she was good at it. She lived her life that way.
Yes.
sure.
You know, how does she keep getting away with this? The wheelchair in the trust fall was wild. That's another thing I can imagine they wouldn't put in today's version because there would be too much,
They left
sensitivity
out
about
a
that.
whole lot. The whole train pack and Coach Carr, that was not.
No, I knew that was
Yeah,
rough for
they definitely letting that go.
Yeah, that was rough for 04, man. Yeah, I agree. I know that's a good way to wrap up the movie itself.
But we all knew it. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we all knew a Coach Carr
Come
in
on,
the
man.
in the
Chill,
team.
chill, man.
Did we?
I'm only saying chill because that definitely happened to Cole Rain. There was definitely, I ain't even want to say much. I'm not even gonna say much. Hey, yes, that some shit came out, and anyway, I think that the ending of it was perfect, and it was a good message to high school kids, particularly young ladies. This ain't really what life is about. This ain't how you have to go about it. You can still find your own path without being mean to each other, and everybody landing correctly. I'm glad everybody found their footing. Even Regina, like Regina was. That's the thing. No, they all, Gretchen found her clique. She found
Gretchen
a new
ain't
queen bee
learned
to
a
serve.
lesson. She the only person ain't learned shit this whole movie.
Didn't learn.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not gonna argue that. And I'm glad even Regina found her footing because as much as mean as Regina was, she was still a likable character. Like, she still had redeeming qualities about herself. She just channeled them differently. So I'm glad that everybody kind of ended up where they did, and they were looking at that next generation. Like, nah, y'all ain't about to do this shit on our watch. That's how high school is. Like, there's a sense of ownership when you get to high school. Like, this is my shit. Like, y'all ain't been through especially as you move up the ranks, especially junior, senior year. You look at these young niggas like, y'all ain't done what we did. Like, I'm the one. Like, I put you. Nah, that's just how it is. That's your mindset. And you don't even pay attention to young people. Like, never mind. I ain't gonna get into that story. But as far as quotes go, Mia, you can start us out. Quotes.
Oh man. Okay. So I know that everybody has a bunch of quotes because it's a very quotable movie. So do you want me to just say one or two and then because
Just go ahead. Just give me your favorites. Just give me your favorites.
That's why her hair is so big, it's full of secrets. So if you're from Africa, why are you white? Of course, on Wednesdays we wear pink. I'm gonna leave a few because I have so many. I was half a virgin when I met him. It's like I have ESPN or something. Boo, you whore. Okay, I'll leave it because I know.
Right.
Okay, I was trying to, so I'm gonna avoid the ones that you did. I'm gonna just go. We already said it, Jumbo, just because so ridiculous. Oh my God, Danny DeVito, I love your work.
That's my favorite. Hey, that might be my favorite quote in the film, man. That whole scene, that's just hilarious.
Silly. And then I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. And we're doing our thing. With Kevin the Poor. I already said it. You're a mean girl, Cady. You're a bitch. That's probably my favorite quote. Go ahead, Scoot.
I got everything y'all said except for when Damien goes to first played when they first playing his song for the talent show. Don't look at me. And then of course when Janice picks up that paper, Damien, almost too gay to function. That's only cool when I say that. Like we all have that person that we love
For sure.
that only you can say certain things
For
about.
sure.
Can't nobody cross that line, and that's it for me.
I got a couple more I'll add, and then I'll let you guys finish if you have any additionals. One is just stupid as shit. It's so stupid that it makes me laugh every time. Is your muffin buttered? Would you like us to assign someone to butter your muffin? Like that shit's so dumb. That's just stupid high school boy humor. And the fact that Cady had no idea what was going on. It's October 3rd. Kevin, when he talks to Janice after the Christmas thing, he sees her backstage. Damn, I'd rather see you out there shaking that thing. Kevin again. Look, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I only date women of color. And of course, with two more, one is probably the most, if not the most popular quote in the movie, one of the most popular. She doesn't even go here. Oh, yeah. And the last one I have is just a very subtle line when they were searching. They were asking, Principal Duval was asking questions about if they seen, what was the teacher's name, Tina Fey's?
Miss Norberry selling drugs.
Norberry, yeah, selling drugs. They asked her certainly like some type of tablets, a marijuana tablets, and somebody said, "What are marijuana tablets?" And that's exactly what you would expect a high school student to say. Like, damn, that's a new drug. I ain't heard of that. Like, explain. Shout out to all the DARE workers, man, that tried to get us right in 5th grade and failed miserably. Yeah, failed miserably. Any other quotes outside of that we missed?
I got a few.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
For sure.
And stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. That's something me and my friends still say to each other all the time.
Yes. So fetch.
Rachel, you got anything else?
No, those are my last two too.
All right. Bet. Scene stealer. To me, there's a lot. There's 4 people that should be seriously considered. I'm gonna name them, and if there's anybody I missed, you guys let me know. But for me, I have Tim Meadows as Principal Duval, Daniel Franzese, if I'm saying his name right, my apologies, as Damien, Rajiv Serinda as Kevin Napur, and Amy Poehler as Mrs. George. I think those are the 4 prime candidates for scene stealer. School. Who you got as scene stealer?
I had Janice.
Oh, you have Janice. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at Janice.
One of the real villains in this movie.
That's fair. Ray P?
This movie. I have Amy Poehler as Mrs. George.
Not mad at it.
Mia?
So I actually had down Rajiv, Amy Poehler, and Tim Meadows. And I just put like or in between each because I couldn't decide between the two.
All right. So this is hard. This is very difficult. I'm going to go with, all right, so if you take Kevin out the movie, it's still a funny movie. Like I love his lines, but it's still going to be the same. You can take him out. I honestly believe it's Amy Poehler. And the reason I'm going with Amy Poehler as Mrs. George is because a lot of her comedy was subtle. And it wasn't even dialogue. It was just this dumb shit that she was doing. It was being behind Regina doing her picture at the spring fling. It was being in the audience with their camcorder doing the choreography, you know, at the Winterfest or whatever they called it. It was, yeah, like ain't recorded shit. Just the whole like I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. All that stuff. It's just the way she embodied that character. Because I'll never forget the first time going to someone's house and their parents letting them cuss and all of that. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly who that is. That's the mom. So I think she nailed it. But I do want to shout out Damien. Like Damien is hilarious
for sure
in this film. Hilarious. Shout out to Damien for sure. Things that bother you?
The only thing that bothers me, the one thing that bothers me is that their parents are from America, but they don't know what a punishment is.
Yeah, did you get that they were like hippie-ish in their day?
Yeah, but they parents.
The mom knew, the dad didn't.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the mom, I guess, but yeah, that still was. somebody should have known. Like, you got to explain it. They had to grow up watching Leave It to Beaver, Dennis the Menace. They knew what a punishment was.
Yeah, he probably had never been on punishment either. He seems like the type that never been grounded a day in his life. So he's probably heard the term, but didn't fully understand what it meant.
Hey.
That's the only thing I can give it a pass. But I ain't mad at it. I didn't have anything that bothered me. I did have an observation, which was when Damien first meets Cady, and Cady sits down next to him. Like, ain't no way you reaching over to a black woman and grabbing her hair like that.
Bruh.
Ever. So that was just an observation. Like I said, it didn't bother me because I'm not a black woman. But I do know how that situation would go if you did it to a black woman. Come See About Me? No. Any actors from The Wire? No. Wouldn't let that happen to me. Anything?
I would like to say that I would not get wrapped up in Janice's bullshit.
Yeah.
And would have made organic friends, but who knows? You're new to the fucking country. You might do anything for friends at 16. So
that's fair. Anybody else? Anything? All right, let's get into some trivia. I have a few pieces of trivia before we get out of here. Mariah Carey, her song "Obsessed" was inspired by this film. Obviously, when Regina George says the line, "Why are you so obsessed with me?" She even says that at the beginning of the song. Tim Meadows, who plays Principal Duval, he broke his hand before shooting and had to wear a cast, which is why they threw in the carpal tunnel line. The wide set vagina joke that is said during the workshop.
The wide set vagina.
Yeah, so that joke itself almost made the film rated R. And we've talked about this, I believe, on Love and Basketball. When we had our Love and Basketball episode, there was some mention about the sex scene when Q and Monica were in high school. She lost her virginity, and how they almost made that movie rated R because of that scene. They went back and said, "Hey, I think the movie was Meet Joe Black." They referenced Meet Joe Black and said, "Hey, you guys had a similar scene in this movie, and it was able to be PG-13." So this Mean Girls had a similar case where the wide set vagina happened, and then they reference Anchorman and say, "Hey, there's a joke pretty much exactly like this, and you let that be PG-13." So it's just shout out to movies and references. Like, if you know your history, you can get shit past like the MPAA.
Yeah.
And be like, yo, like, here's an example. It's just kind of like law. Like, I have a reference right here where you let this slide. You got to let it slide for us.
Precedent.
Yeah, precedent. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. But that wasn't just the only line. There was a lot, like it's Tina Fey, Saturday Night Live. Like, there were a lot of lines and scenes that were changed or cut from the film because the MPAA was like, this is rated R. Like, I don't know what you're trying to tell us. You got to chop all of this. And they ended up doing it because they wanted it to reach that high school audience. Janice Ian, that was a homage to the singer Janice Ian. So there's a singer by the same name. She was the first musical act on Saturday Night Live. She is also the you can hear one of her songs in the background of the movie. It's called Act 17. And also, Janice Ian was a lesbian, like an open lesbian in real life. So when you see the character Janice,
lesbian crush on you.
Yeah, all the lesbian jokes throughout the film, that was also in part because of that character being kind of modeled after the singer.
Yeah.
You know, loosely, not seriously. Regina, the name Regina, we obviously know the Queen Bee. Regina means queen in Latin, Italian, and Romanian. And then the last thing are Train Pack and Tim Pack are siblings. So Tim Pack is one of the mathletes, and Train Pack we know was with Coach Carr. They are actually siblings in the film, even though it was never directly mentioned. So that's all I have as far as trivia goes. Anything else that anybody wants to mention before we wrap things up?
Shout out to this movie.
Shout out to this movie.
Shout out to the movie indeed. So we get to the part of the episode where we get to rate the film. The average viewer rates this film 7.1 out of 10. Mia, is that too high, too low, or just right?
I think it's too low. I have to give it a 7.5.
7.5? School. Too high, too low, just right?
Too low, I'm going 8.1.
Ooh! Ray P. Hold on, time out. 8.1?
8.1. Next. Go ahead, Ray.
No. I'm not saying it like that. I'm not arguing your stance. I just never knew you liked this movie that much.
Oh yeah.
If you think about it, and I'm gonna bring this up in the future. When I think about the movies that we've done, there's not a lot of movies you've given an 8 or above to. And I didn't know you liked this movie more than a lot of those movies. So that's why I said it like, damn, I didn't even know.
It's my shit.
Okay.
Too low, 8.
Too low, 8.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares what I have to say because I'm not in the plastics. I was late to the party. I'm going just right. 7.1. It's enjoyable. I do regret that I don't have that full experience with it. I just never knew what it was like to see it in real time and kind of have those discussions. I would have loved to watch it when I was in high school and have more of an observation. I enjoy the movie. It's very enjoyable. I like it. I just know I would never love it as the people who saw it within the first year or two when it came out. I just won't.
You don't
I do appreciate it.
Factor.
I don't have what?
The nostalgia factor.
I don't have the nostalgia factor. Yeah. And like I said, I mentioned this before with like white chicks. Like school loves white chicks. I saw white chicks in college. It was just, I wasn't around for the conversation and the hype. So in the same way, I am very nostalgic about certain movies. Well, I'm sure people look at me like, bro, that shit ain't even all that good. So yeah, it goes both ways. But I missed it. But that does not take away my appreciation and me recognizing what a cultural phenomenon this movie is, has been, continues to be. 20 years this month, still holds up, still stands the test of time.
For sure.
And I definitely appreciate you guys sharing your excitement and energy for the film with me. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted all three of you to have, and I really enjoyed this conversation. Mia, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your love of film with us. For everybody out there listening, watching, thank you. As always, we can't do any of this without you. Ray P, school, y'all know what it is. Y'all the home team, y'all the fam. Love y'all. Please don't forget to check out We Got Y'all, School's Guilty Pleasures. Information is in the link tree below. We will catch y'all next week. We will be back. I believe it's School's pick, maybe. I don't know. We'll check. Either way, we'll talk about whose for picks it is next week. It might be Rachel's. I don't know. But with that being said, damn, I was trying to think of a Mean Girls quote off the top of my head, but I can't think of one. So I'm just going to say, y'all be cool how y'all be cool.
Peace.
Bye. Get in, losers. We're going shopping. What's your mom? Yeah. Bye.